I've pointed out a few times in videos regarding the dog and pony show that is Brexit, that the narrative has been hijacked and has been for some time from staunch Remainers, the crybaby politicians that want to remain no matter the costs. And, you know, within a matter of weeks after the referendum came and went, the narrative became hard and soft Brexit. Then it became, we can't leave unless there's a deal on the table. And now, of course, we're at a point where they're talking about no deal. Brexit is an absolute disaster, a catastrophe, all the usual rhetoric. It can't, no matter the costs, we can't have a no deal Brexit. 3 times the narrative has been hijacked, and 3 times it's been supported and reinforced until it became commonplace and accepted as normal. And with that, the hysteria has followed suit from politicians such as Helmet Head, SNP's Nicola Sturgeon. But I just want to point out a few blatant contradictions in the things that they say, and it just goes to show how stupid they think the public are. Now, when you take into consideration what they've been wanting and have been for some time, that is of course to take no deal off the table. As they say here, a no-deal Brexit would deeply damage the reputation of the UK as a reliable international partner and undermine the Good Friday Agreement and the peace process in the island of Ireland. The next Prime Minister must pull back from the brink of a no-deal Brexit and be honest with the public. If they continue on their current path, the UK looks increasingly likely to crash out of the EU in just 4 months. Even the use of these words, crash out, it would be a catastrophe, so on and so forth, just drip feeding and repeating the same words, the same rhetoric until it becomes accepted and becomes normal. Now, of course, they then go on to say that the new Prime Minister must change course and rule out a no deal under any circumstances. The pair also reiterated their support for a second vote on the UK's future in Europe, saying it was clear that due to deadlock at Westminster, there should be a new referendum on EU membership. Now, okay, so they want a second referendum, right? And they want no deal cannot be on that ballot paper. No deal is not allowed to be talked about. No deal would be a catastrophe. But yet, in the next breath, they will openly state that Theresa May's so-called deal would be equally as catastrophic and damaging. Therefore, the only logical conclusion that I can gather from these claims is that we must just remain then. Now, how come no deal can't be on the ballot paper, but Theresa May's deal, so-called deal, could be on the ballot paper alongside remaining? So, on one hand, no deal would be catastrophic, but yet Theresa May's deal would be equally as catastrophic. How come they aren't prepared to put no deal on the table, but yet they're willing to put Theresa May's so-called deal on the table in terms of a second referendum? On one hand, they're not prepared to take the risk of a no deal, but they're quite prepared to take the risk of Theresa May's deal. Because at the end of the day, if it was that, as well as remaining, that was on the ballot paper, there was still a chance that Theresa May's deal could, of course, obtain a majority vote. See, the fact is, they know themselves that remaining within the European Union and Theresa May's deal, if the choice was between those two, it would obviously go in favour of Remain. So instead of just revoking Article 50 and proving to the world just how anti-democratic they all are, they're trying to fleece the public by making them think that at the end of the day you've got a choice. Theresa May's deal or remaining. Now, theoretically, remaining shouldn't be on the ballot paper at all. It should be a case of leave without a deal and Theresa May's deal if that's the way it's got to be. If no deal was no longer on the table, it would be up to them whether or not they wish to renegotiate. And if there was consensus that leaving without a deal was no longer an option, then it would stand to reason that all they would need to do was continue to reject any attempts to reopen the withdrawal agreement. Then, by default, at some point, it would either have to go back to the people, quote unquote, or just be revoked. That is Article 50, of course. These people are trying to dupe the public into thinking that no deal is so catastrophic it can't be spoken of, so it needs to go back to the public with a vote being about Theresa May's equally catastrophic deal or remain, instead of just outright revoking Article 50.